Hello everyone. I hope you are doing well. As I have explained the newspapers yesterday, so I am continuing with that newspaper analysis only. Today also I will discuss about the Indian Express newspaper. Today in Indian Express newspapers there are various articles, various editorials, and today all the means large number of editorials are there, and they are mainly important editorials. Today in explain page also there are different topics which are very much important for exam perspective, because in the explain page also we will see about there mainly the polity newses are there, like leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, leader of opposition in the Raj Sabha, like speaker. Yesterday I have talked about the deputy speaker. Today we will talk about the speaker in very much detail, as it is in your polity syllabus. If you have read that Lakshmikant book, then obviously you have read it in a very comprehensive manner. There it is given about how leader of that or even a speaker post is, what are the criteria for the speaker post to be elected, how how many terms speakers are, means how many years speakers remain in the post, or different kind of the criteria of election, what are their functions, what are their roles, what are the powers and duties of speaker. So we will deal today with this topic. So mainly today I will cover the polity news, because today only polity newses are there, and that is very much relevant for your prelims examination, or very much relevant for your mains examination also. But in mains you will not get direct questions on that, write the role of speakers, or you can say that explain about the speakers, how elections is being conducted. No, that kind of questions you should not expect in mains. But yes, in prelims they are asking about the speakers, and in previous question, if you analyze the previous year question, then there also they have asked about your speaker post, and obviously they will ask something like, yes, it is mentioned in the constitution or not, its tenure is mentioned or not. So these kinds of question, if you will see 5 years 10 years question, then obviously you will come across these kinds of question according to the constitution, according to the rule. So these questions are given. So here today I will deal with this speaker post, the speaker of the Lok Sabha, its that terms and conditions, what are its power and duties, everything. So coming to the first page, now I start with the newspaper analysis. Now coming to the first page, here in first page it is written that Om Birla, who was also a speaker before the in you can say in 17th Lok Sabha, he has been re-elected the as a new speaker in 18th Lok Sabha. So second times he has made a speaker of the Lok Sabha. So first of all, we will first topic we will discuss about the speaker. So a speaker of Lok Sabha. So in the this a speaker post, the speaker of Lok Sabha, it covers in article 93. So article 93 deals about the speaker and deputy speaker post. And when you come to the historical background, how the speaker post was, you can say that uh, introduced in the constitution, or how the speaker post came into the picture. As many things you will see in the constitution, they are borrowed from different countries. If you read Lakshmikant, there it is said, yes, it is borrowed almost 60 countries. So different posts, like how elections are being done of Raj Sabha, how presidents are chosen, what are the impeachment, how from where impeachment you have brought, from where fundamentals you write you have brought. So a speaker of the Lok Sabha was introduced in that when British were ruling, that British have colonized the India. At that time only the Government of India Act was there. You have read in your polity book also, and must you have read in your that modern history also, Government of India Act 1919 also, which is also known as Chelmsford Reform, which is also known as Chelmsford reform, just for reform, just for reforms. So uh, this that this Government of India Act of 1999, it has brought this the post of this speaker of the Lok Sabha or Raj Sabha at that time. So now from there only it has been introduced in the constitutions. Now coming to the speaker, the different that you can say that in different manner. Here I will discuss that what are its elections, what are that post of a speaker, how it is getting elected. So first of all, let's see about the elections of a speaker, how the speakers are getting elected. So a speaker is elected by so convention is also that yes, the leader of that the party which are in the power, the party which has the majority members. So that party is from that party only speaker's post is getting elected. So it's by that simple majority. Yes, election is happening by of simple majority of members present and voting. And speaker is getting elected by Lok Sabha from amongst its members by simple majority of members present and voting in Lok Sabha and from its members. And the date of election of a speaker, the date of election is fixed by president. Is fixed by president. Why it is fixed? Because president is an integral part of parliament. If you know about the parliament consists of Raj Sabha, Lok Sabha, and president. So president integral part. So the date of election is speaker is fixed by president. And date of deputy speaker is fixed by that speaker. Deputy speaker elections fixed by that on which date elections of deputy speaker will be conducted. That is mainly fixed by a speaker. So these things you remember. God, don't get confused that yet on that president is that fixing the date of that election of a speaker and also deputy speaker. No, that is not right. Only a speaker election date is fixed by president, but a deputy speaker date is fixed by a speaker. Yesterday also when I have discussed in this newspaper only of that deputy speaker, about deputy speaker, there I have already told that yes, that date is fixed by a speaker. Now how that the terms of a speaker, how up to which term the speaker post is that there in the Lok Sabha. So term, if you come to the term, then a speaker remains in office during the lifetime of Lok Sabha, the life of the Lok Sabha, that is 5 years. So post remains here. A speaker remains in office during the life of Lok Sabha. Or if that he or she has to vacate his or her seat, when the speaker has to vacate his seat, that conditions are also there that in following cases they have to vacate seats. When the vacancy has to be there, when vacate his seats, then following conditions are there. First of all, either he ceases to be a member of Lok Sabha, or he resigns by writing to deputy speaker. This thing you should remember, deputy speaker, because here many students get confused that because if you see then various posts are there, when they kind of vacate their seat or when they resign, then either they submit their resignation to president or governor. But in case of a speaker, the speaker or deputy speaker, they resigns by writing to the deputy speaker. So, and what are the removal for resolution if that the party, the Lok Sabha, that house, if they are removing, then what are the removal resolution? First, removal for resolution, removal by resolution. How much majority are required? So, if you see by removal resolution, removal is happening with 14 days advance notice should be given. So, 14 days advance notice. It's not that with without giving any notice you that remove a speaker. No, 14-day advance notice has to be given. And when the resolution is under consideration, when this 14-day advance notice you have given, and when resolution is under consideration, then on that time period, when the resolution is under consideration, in that time period, he or she, that a speaker cannot preside at the sitting. So here the speaker cannot, when 40-day advance notice is there, when the resolution is under consideration, then a speaker cannot preside the sitting, because that's the sittings are summoned by uh, president. Summon means sittings are जैसे अगर सम्मन करे मीन्स बुला रहे हैं ज्वाइंट सिटिंग करवाना, तो बोथ हाउस को आप बुलाना, दैट इज द वर्क ऑफ प्रेसिडेंट. बट व्हेन इट इज गेटिंग प्रिसाइडिंग वर्क, देन व्हेन इट इज गेटिंग प्रिसाइडेड, दैट प्रिसाइडेड बाय अ स्पीकर ओनली. So he, a speaker cannot preside the sitting, cannot wait wait preside the sitting. But yes, here he or she may be present. Here it's not that he is not presiding, then he can't speak. Here he can speak and take part in proceedings and vote, and uh, can vote in first instance, not in case of not in case of equality. Getting? Means he, when resolution is there, then he can speak and take part in proceeding, but can vote in first instance, not in case of equality. If the resolution is passed by effective majority in Lok Sabha, speaker is removed. So removal is happening when effective majority is passed. So there are different kind of majority: simple majority, effective majority, absolute majority. Absolute majority means what? When the government is being formed, then you require absolute majority. That is the that is total number of seats, 50%, more than 50% of total number of seats in the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. So that's kinds of things. The effective majority means what? That yes, present and voting is there, but the vacancy is, you are not counting the vacancy, like either by death, either by resignations. So this vacancy you are not counting there. So that is effective majority. Now coming to the, see, now what is happening, that when the Lok Sabha is dissolved after 5 years, then a speaker does not vacate her office till the new Lok Sabha meets. New Lok Sabha come to the power. Up to that, a speaker's post is not getting vacated. After when new Lok Sabha comes, then when they form the government, then they elect the that speaker from their that majority, there who are in the majority from the Lok Sabha. Now, what is the role of the Lok Sabha? That a speaker. A speaker, what is the role of a speaker? Its head, a speaker is considered as a head of the Lok Sabha. He is considered as the guardian of power and privilege of members. Guardian of power and privilege of members. The house as a whole and its committees. So he is the members of that guardian, you can say that, of house or committees. Different committees are there, so it heads those committees. He is principal spokesman of the house, and the decision also in that parliamentary matters, either in, you can say, in privilege motion, or you can say that in case of Lok Sabha, or some bills are being passed like money bills, then the decision of a speaker is final. So its power and duties, if you come to its power and duties, then the money bill, either it is a money bill, or you can say finance bill, or it is either an ordinary bill. So the speakers decides on this. If money bill, the speaker says it's money bill, then obviously it's money bill. No challenging. No, you can't challenge his or her statement that yes, it's a money bill or any kind of the. But in the Kihoto, that Kihoto Hollahan case, in Kihoto, if you have read about this Kihoto Hollahan case. See, here I am not explaining you in very much detail, because you must have read in polity. Here I am just glancing over the topics so that you can easily remember, you can revise here. So that's why I'm taking into this topic into consideration, and I am discussing here points in pointed form. So Kyoto Hollahan case in 1992, in this Supreme Court has told, yes, as Supreme Court has told that a speaker decision on money bill is final. That is something other, that the other matter. But if that decision has been taken into malified, or you can say it's some political that you can say political biasness is there, or some kind of you can say it's not a money bill, and you are putting those bill kind of means and making it some money bill. So these kinds of decisions which are malified, which are not good to that decision making, or which are violating a kind of you can say that any rights, fundamental rights, so that bill is can be reviewed by the Supreme Court. So Supreme Court is so that no, a speaker decision is final, that is other thing. But it's not that any bill can a speaker be considered as a money bill and it can be passed. Because if you have read about the ordinary bill, then what is happening in ordinary bill? If Lok Sabha has passed, then it goes to Raj Sabha, where Raj Sabha if also passes by, either if they are recommending either some changes, they are recommending, if they are not passing those bills, then obviously that bill lapses. But here, in case of money bill, it's a whole the power is given to the Lok Sabha only, where the party who are in the majority, they, if they want to pass any money bill, then they will pass. They are not dependent on Raj Sabha. Just for 14 days they are seeing that yes, if they have passed to the Raj Sabha, and Raj Sabha made some recommendation, some kind of that suggestions, then it is up to the Lok Sabha, the majority party, that either they want to that do certain changes, then obviously they will do. But if they do not what, they will, then bill will be considered as a passed. It's not that Raj Sabha can reject those money bills. So here it can be that some political influences can be there. So in Kyoto Holland, the Supreme Court has said yes, this the power of the speaker, where the speakers has to that yes, it's money bill or that kind of any bill. So here it can pass those bills, but it can be reviewed. So as the review power here comes to the picture. Review power, money bill, like you can see, like if you see the example recently, that one news was there that was very much in the news, and that it was very important news. This year prelims has not asked the questions from that, yes, but it is considered important for other years, for next year, in just electoral bond. So what was happened, that in case of electoral bond, that it was that we can say considered that declared as a void or unconstitutional by Supreme Court. Why it was considered? Because in when this new government came, then they passed this electoral bond by amending those rules. By amending, it deals with money, but by money something else also it discussed as a financial bills, you can consider it, but they have passed it as a money bills. So if they have passed it as a money bills, then obviously the Raj Sabha, where because the current government, their majority was not there in the Raj Sabha, so obviously in Lok Sabha they have passed it without any kind of opposition, but in Raj Sabha they could not pass. So they have considered, they included this electoral bond as a money bill, and they passed it without any that consideration or without any recommendation. So obviously, and it was considered as a void and constitutional. In this electoral bond, what they have changed it in RBI Act, they also made changes. Income Tax Act, they also made changes. Income tax, they also made changes, and some different like companies act also they made this, and finance act they also made changes. So different acts they have made amendments, and they have passed it as a money bill. So for this purpose only, once Supreme Court has told us no, it's not that any bill you can pass as a money bill. So the review power of Supreme Court, uh, that review power of Supreme Court has that given this kind of judgment. Now that this was the main that things which you can be asked in prelims. If you read the in detail, that yes, it can be, if they are asking about the roles and duties and powers of that speaker or deputy speaker, then obviously you can go through your that either polity books or your polity classes where you have discussed in a much greater depth. So now coming to the next topics. First, in one topics only this much time I have given. Now coming to the next topic. See today that from first page, then on first page speakers that was given a speaker news was given, but from second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth up to eighth page nothing that important news are there. Mainly political news are there, of that local news are there. So don't get that you can speak you can skip those that in from 1 to that 8 pages you can speak. Now coming to the explain page, because today in explain page on editorial page news are very important. So in coming to the explain page, in explain page if you come to the that first news item, so it is given that leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, its position, role and responsibility. So leader of opposition, this is also very important news in Lok Sabha. You know that leader of opposition Lok Sabha, who has appointed leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi has been appointed leader of opposition in Lok Sabha. And who has appointed leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha? Who has appointed? If you are knowing, because it was also in the news. Here, Mallikarjun Kharge. Mallikarjun Kharge. And who has been appointed as leader of opposition in that Rajya Sabha we have seen opposition in Lok Sabha. Now leader of houses, you can say that it is that health minister who is JP Nandda. So this can be question can be asked in your that state PCS exam. This is not being asked in your that prelims in UPSC exam, but yes, in some state PCS you can expect this kind of question. Leader of houses JP Nandda. So these are the things here. Now coming to the news or the main news, what was in the news here. So we all know that that from Rai Bareilly the MP Rahul Gandhi that he has been elected from that Rai Bareilly MP. So now he has appointed as a leader of opposition Lok Sabha. So earlier that last 10 years, in last 10 years, what was there, that post, the leader of opposition post was vacant. Why post was vacant? Because for having the leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, you require 10% of the, you require how much? 10% means the 10th of percent, you can say the 10th of the strength of the house. So that much you can say that 10th of the strength of the house, that much you have to secure the seats in either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha of which you are being as a leader of opposition. So in that in 2000 that in 19 or into 2014 the Congress has was the largest opposition party, but they have won only 44 seats, and in 2000 they had won 52 seats. So that was on 10th. You know that the strength of the Lok Sabha is how much? If Lok Sabha considered a strength, that 543. So at least you should have 55 members in that Lok Sabha. Then only you can form the opposition members. Then only you can form the leader of opposition. So almost for 10 years this post was vacant. So it becomes important for your exam perspective. And what roles the Lok Sabha, the leader of opposition Lok Sabha plays, what roles the leader of opposition plays in democratic governance. So that thing you should know, because that can be prelims, you are not you should not expect that question, but in mains you can write those analysis when you are talking about the polity, the governance issue, governance in the democratic governance. So here they have you can say that uh, they have won this time more than 99 seats in this election. So leader opposition of Lok Sabha, the Rahul Gandhi has been appointed. And the question can be asked from the leader of opposition. They will in UPSC they will give a statement. Leader of opposition is elected from is elected. They will simply say the leader of opposition is mentioned in the constitution. Mentioned in the constitution. So this statement is false. They will also according to the constitution. So when these things come, then please read the question carefully this year also. And every, if you see in every year, then 1 to 3 questions are like this only according to the constitution, mentioned in the constitution. So this leader of opposition is not mentioned in the constitution. The leader of opposition is was officially described in the salary. It was officially described in the salary and allowance of leader opposition in the Parliament Act 1977. So officially it was in the Parliament Act of Parliament Act of 1977. So these things you remember, these are the very much important from your prelims perspective, because they are directly asking these kinds of questions. They are not going in much detail, in much deeper for your that making the questions. So these things you should remember. Now here the this acts, this the opposition, the salary and alliance of leaders of opposition in Parliament Act 1977. This act describes the leader of opposition as a member of the Council of States. These members will be the Council of States or the House of the People, that is Lok Sabha, as the case may be, who is for the time being the leader in that house of the party in opposition to the government, having the greatest numerical strength and recognized as such by the chairman of the council or states or the speaker of the house of people. You know that a speaker and deputy speaker is for the Lok Sabha, and chairman and that deputy chairman, you can that is vice chairman, that are for the Raj Sabha. So this was the main news in this things. So these were the main things. You should remember these points. Now that what positions leader of opposition, that paper has also discussed that what position does the leader of opposition have in the house. So it is saying that that sits in the front row of the left chair. This question they will not, where they sits, how they sits and enjoy. Yes, they, if they are members of parliament, obviously they will enjoy certain privileges like ceremonial occasions like the speaker elect to the resortum. The leader of opposition is also entitled to a seat in the front row during the address by the president of the both house of the parliament. So they are not going to ask you about the what is its where it is going to sit, where what is the where its chair are getting posted. So they will not ask you about this, but they will just simply what I have told you here, that leader opposition is mentioned in the constitution, that is not there. The leader of opposition is mentioned, it is described in the salary and allowances of leaders of opposition in Parliament Act of 1977. And what is the main duty of the leader of opposition? So when coming to the duty, what duty it plays, what roles it plays, the leader of opposition, then you can see the main duty of the leader of opposition is to serve as the voice of the opposition in the houses. So mainly it criticizes the governments, its policies, and its checks. You can simply say that it's also create a kind of checks and balances on the government who is in the power, so that some any bills that they cannot pass in a haphazard manner, in by not considering the other houses, or you can say that. So these kinds of things are getting checked by these leader opposition. So they are criticizing the policies. So governments also are very much responsible. If you see some other country, developed country, then their leader of opposition, their opposition parties are also very much that effective. Their strength is in a good number. Their numerical strength is large. So they starts or they keeps the checks and balances on the party which are ruling. So if you are not having the opposition party, then obviously your rule will be a kind of authoritarian rule. It's not will be a democratic rule like you see in the China only, where one party rule is there. So these kinds of things are getting main role of the leader of opposition, you know. And it also said that yes, that leader opposition is Lok Sabha is considered as the shadow prime minister with a shadow cabinet. It's also considered, and it was mentioned in the parliament, that official booklet on parliament which was published in 2012. It was said the leader of opposition in Lok Sabha is considered as the shadow prime minister, as the shadow prime minister with a shadow cabinet. With a shadow cabinet. This line, if you mentions, then obviously it will give you edge in your answers. So here it is saying that they are considered a shadow prime minister with a shadow cabinet, ready to take the over the administration if the government resigns or is defeated on the floor of the house. Why they are called shadow cabinet and shadow PM? Because it is ready, always ready to take if the governments resign, the ruling government was ruling the country or were governing the country. If they resigns or any the floor test, if they fail the floor test, then obviously this the this that the shadow PM, the leader opposition, they came to the power, they will come to the power. So it is saying that this kind, so leader opposition lets the prime minister govern in turns permitted to oppose. So its role is very much in its role is facilitating the smooth functioning of the business of the house as important for the governments. So these kinds of things you should remember here. And most importantly, here it is saying the leader opposition is the opposition representative in the high or means here I want to discuss some last point on this topic, that yes, as you will see that the appointment for CBI, as you will see the appointment committee for that CVC, Central Vigilance Commission, and you will see Central Information Commissioner, which you have must have read in your polity books, polity chapters, that Chief Information Commission, that NHRC, National Human Rights Commission, chairperson or members of the National Human Rights Commission, NHRC. If you come to the you have read about the Lokpal. So in all these posts, you will see that the chairman or members are getting elected by the committee, where in the committee, in these committees, the role of the leader opposition is very important, because the leader oppositions of the houses are also the member of that committee along with prime minister or any other members. So it plays a very important role in checks and balances, so that the political biasness should be not there, any kind of political biasness should be not there, political influence should be not there. So these are the things. Now next point in this one last point is there, that in order of precedence, you know that order of precedence, that who is in a hierarchical positions, first who comes, second who comes. So in case of this the leader of position, the leader the that order of precedence is order of precedence is number 7. Number 7, where the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha comes. So on number 7, various other positions are also there, like union cabinet ministers are there, national security advisors are there. National security advisors comes into this order of precedence. Principal secretary to the PM, principal secretary to the PM, vice chairperson of Niti Ayog, former former PMs, so CMs. So you can see that how much that post that order president is given to that leader of opposition. These questions can also be asked if they saying that what leader of presidents, they will ask here that yes, it's that cabinet, that's his power is at means order presidents, the leader of opposition comes at number 6, or you can say that you compare with that comes at the par with you can say that along with Supreme Court judges. So that will be the wrong answer. So this line you have to remember here. So this was the second topic of leader opposition. Now coming to the third topic. So in third topic, it is discussing about that National Assembly elections in France. So here it is discussing about the France constitution, or you can say the France that governance, how the France is governing, what are the different ways how the PMs are getting elected, how the president's elections happen. So if you if you have analyzed those that your syllabus, then in syllabus it is in main syllabus, if you see, then there it is written that in syllabus, if you will see, then there it is mentioned that that you have to compare your constitutions with other countries, but not with all countries, because it is not possible that you compare your constitution with all the 200 300 countries, no. But important country like USA, mainly the if questions they are asking, then about the USA, the France, the Japan, the China, or we can say that Europe. So mainly the European countries. So the here we will see about the France constitution, how the France governance are happening, what are the different methods of this France governance and France constitution, and how it is different from the Indian constitution. There's some similarities also there. Yeah. So we know that what we have borrowed from the France, uh, that liberty we have borrowed from the France, or what the fraternity, liberty, that things we have borrowed from the France constitution, French Revolution, that is equality, liberty, fraternity. Now, one term is there, that cohabitation. What is cohabitation? So in here the cohabitation, it is saying that uh, that this year when the polling has happened in France on June 30 and July 7. After that polling, the France will elect a new national assembly, and thus for the first time in 22 years there is a real possibility that the president and the prime minister, that the leader of the national assembly, will not be from the same party. Means till now that the mainly the means the president and the prime minister both were elected from the same party, but this time that will not happen from the same party. So this phenomena is known as cohabitation. Hmm. So this much detail you not go, but simply you remember the cohabitation means that the PM and residents are not from the same party, are not from the same party. This much. So it is if you consider as a president or prime minister how they are elected. So France is a semi-presidential. France is a semi. These are the first points. So plus France is a semi-presidential representative parliamentary democracy. Representative parliamentary democracy. See, India, we are a parliamentary democracy. We are not a semi-presidential. But in France, one differences you will, if you compare your constitution with France constitution, then obviously you can see that yes, France is a semi-presidential and representative parliamentary democracy. So, and where the different defined roles, that means with clearly defined roles are there for the president and the prime minister. Now the president is elected for a term of 5 years. So the president is elected for a term of 5 years. Earlier in 2000, up to 2000, it was 7 years, but after 2000, that amendments happened, and which reduced that term from 7 years to 5 years. So, and president also serve as the head of the state. Like today, also in India, also the president are considered head of the state, head of the armed force, commander of the armed force. So, head of the state, commander of armed force, armed forced forces. Or here, president enjoys regulatory power, exercising control of all decisions on matters for foreign policy and defense. Means like India, here similarity you can write these things: foreign policy and defense. The prime minister is the leader of the largest party. But when coming to the prime minister is the leader of the largest party coalition in the National Assembly. Like India only, how we are electing the prime ministers. So the largest party they choose, yes, who will be the prime ministers. So that is the prime minister is the leader of the largest party, or you can say the coalition government is forming, then that is there. So it is mainly means very much similar to the Indian constitution only. So the parliament which the prime minister heads is responsible for all domestic policy decisions making. The cabinet is appointed by the president under the prime minister's recommendations. And one thing is here, the prime minister herself cannot be dismissed by the president, but her resignation can be requested. The president can be impeached by the parliament for willfully violating the constitution or the national laws. Here also impeachment can be there, but here in our in India we have seen the impeachment process is for president only. But how much impeachment? Our impeachment is for president is very means a special majority. In a special majority of, if you see, then I think it is a tie for majority where two-third of the total strength of the house. That is a very you can say not easy to impeach any, and until now no presidents have been impeached so far in India, in Indian case. So in France, if you are impeaching the president, then you require how much majority? The president can be impeached by the parliament for willfully violating the constitutions of the national law. Here also we are saying the violation of the constitutional law. Here also the violation of the constitution, but that is not defined. So this requires a two-third majority in both house of the French parliament. So it requires two-third majority of the both house in the parliament house, both house of the French parliament, as well as in the joint session of the two-third majority in both houses. If then it is also same as an Indian case. So total majority you require two-third. Here also it is saying that two-third of the majority both houses of French parliament, always as well as in a joint session of both houses. But in India this joint session is not there, but two-third majority of houses plus also two-third majority of joint session. So this is a difference here. So if this much you remember, then obviously you can write answers. If they are asking about the differences and similarity between the French constitution and Indian constitution, what are their governance, how they govern, joint session of both houses. And you know that when joint session is that called upon in Indian case, that no only when there is a deadlock of that ordinary bill, then only joint session is allowed. In constitution amendment bill, in money bill, there is no provision of joint sessions. That also you remember. No. So this was the topic for this the French Revolution. Now coming to that one more news is there, but that is very short news. If you will read for your interest, if you are very much interested in cricket, then obviously you will find it interesting that yes, this news is important. So but for prelims perspective, if they, because they are now prelims, or if you see the previous questions of these 2-3 years, then obviously they are asking some that sports news also, either sports news or any kind of that sports they are considering, any prizes news in if any their prizes are, any award is there in the news, then obviously related to sports, then they are asking. So here one news has come that Frank Duckworth, you have heard about the Duckworth, DLS, Duckworth Lewis Stern method. Duckworth Lewis Stern method. So this Frank Duckworth 84 has passed away on June 21. So he has passed away. So this news has come that what was his contribution in cricket, how he has made the rules for the Duckworth Lewis Stern, and so all names are that derived from the who has given this rule, Lewis Stern and Duckworth. So it is mainly the method used to fairly determine results and set targets in rain truncated matches. You know that these are the what they are. Simply one line you remember here. I am not going into detail of this. If you are having the interest, and obviously you can read this news uh, by by yourself. But here, what is important here, in one line you remember. So it is here you can say that it is used fairly, it is used because UPSC prelims, they will ask only in one line, what is this Duckworth Lewis Stern method, where how it was in the news. So they will give certain 4-5 statements and they will ask why it was in the news. So used to it, what its role is that it used to mm, it used to fairly determine it is used to fairly determine results and set targets in rain truncated matches. You have seen that frequently some matches are there happening either from in that match also India Pakistan or any other matches in World Cup also rain was happening. So what is that, in between the matches rain happens. So what they do, they apply these methods only, because if rain happens for 2 hours continuously, 3 hours continuously, so obviously that time period of that match which was fixed, that that's are not getting implemented there. So they use these methods, Duckworth, Lewis, Aston. By these methods they used fairly tended how much hours should be considered, how much over game should be played, what the runs it can score in those overs. So they set targets, and according to that only they declare the results, you know. So different methods are used. If you read it in detail, then you will understand how methods are used, how much wickets are remained. Like if 20 hours match are there, then yes, if they are that deducting it to a 10 hour, then how much runs is required. So they are calculating those overs, the basic overs, the overs which are very much means in many, how many runs were put in that over. So that kind of that calculations are there. If you go into there, the mathematical calculation is required here. So so it is there, this much only you remember, don't go in much detail here. So now this was in the news on explained paper. Now here coming to editorial. In editorial also the uh, two editorials are very much good, that if I that they are mainly from men's perspective. If you are writing the answers, they are also a kind of quality news only. So let me discuss these two topics here.